Albaher destroys his opponents one after the other and is considered one of the best influencers in boxing. However, his primary target, AnesonGib, remains on his radar. Aneson is a highly aggressive influencer boxer who is determined to knock Slim's head off. Can Slim defeat him? Let's find out. Slim Albaher's technique is impressive at first glance, but it becomes even more impressive upon closer inspection when you realize what he has actually done. In his fight with Temper, he sometimes did 5 feints before delivering a real punch, constantly wearing him down, changing angles, and finally did this.
Game plan. Oh, big shot! Temper in trouble!
Hitman entered a clinch, made a pivot, and ended up punishing Temper. Temper couldn't recover after such an attack. This is a serious technique that separates amateurs from professionals. Slim showed us that his footwork is full of surprises. In the next fight against Ryan Taylor, Slim demonstrated how he throws punches over his opponent's punches. Ryan was very slow and consistently tried to push with his lead hand, then slowly returned his hand to the block after every strike. There were always free 1 to 2 seconds for a counterattack after he threw a jab or a push, and here's what happened. Slim's genius lies in his ability to capitalize on his opponent's mistakes. It's one thing to identify an error and another entirely to punish someone for it. What appears to be a random knockdown was actually part of Slim's game plan. He throws combinations and enters into clinches, which poses an extra risk for him. But he is skilled at these exchanges, sometimes missing, but sometimes seriously beating his opponents. It's difficult to deal with him because of his unusual movements and his body. He is very strange and jerky, but even Slim himself sometimes struggles to control his body. At first glance, he looks like a fighter who should be light at a long distance. He's tall, long-armed, and fast enough, but for some reason, he constantly rushes into close range, into the clinch. Sometimes it helps him, but more often than not, it doesn't. It's as if he's denying his anthropometric data. Albaher literally helps his lower opponents hit him as he goes down to them with an open chin. This flaw has been exploited by many, including Temper. Slim also makes a lot of unnecessary movements, which sometimes leave him stuck in one place. The first thing they teach in boxing is to keep the second hand on the jaw while the first one strikes. And it's one thing if you're Ali and can react, but Slim has been knocked down many times because of this. And if you're planning to fight Slim, there's one gap that no one has punished him for yet: his dives. Slim repeatedly dives, often doing it even without any visible reason, just to follow up with a 1-2 after such a mini swing. But it's a mistake that Slim either has to correct, or someone like Gib will vividly point it out to him. However, Slim's character is fearless. His willingness to engage in close-range fight and go into the clinch is driven by his adrenaline and his love of the fight. Unfortunately, this often results in him taking unnecessary damage and making mistakes. But if Slim can learn to control his character and correct his mistakes, he will be unbeatable. AnesonGib. AnesonGib's career as a boxer-influencer can be divided into 2 parts: pre-Jake Paul and post-Jake Paul. He was always aggressive, running at his opponents with an open chin, throwing a lot of punches but without much technique. In his fight with Jake, he was fed jabs and a lead hook, which served as a lesson for him. He learned that running with hooks and an open face will not lead to a good outcome. AnesonGib's punches are quick and powerful, and he has a strong personality, but he lacked fighting intelligence. However, he suddenly changed, even in his demeanor, becoming calmer and more focused. In his fight with Taylor, he even learned about jabs. He began using them effectively, unsettling opponents and following up with overhands or his classic hooks. Additionally, he started using feints and his head movement improved. Most importantly, AnesonGib learned how to counterattack when retreating, as shown in his fight with Mcbroom. He started with a hook and then repeated it several times, surprising his opponent. This was AnesonGib's best fight, and this should be his style. He should be patient and not recklessly run at his opponents. However, AnesonGib is all about hard pressing, huge punch strength, and endless endurance. He fights until the end, and that's why he's loved. Although he remains a straightforward and not particularly technical boxer, he has enormous potential to be a good boxer with a lot of work. Prediction. In reality, this fight is not as simple as it seems because both fighters are mutually exclusive. For AnesonGib, Hitman is a dangerous opponent, tall, technical, with sharp straights. But as we remember, Slim often gets into close range instead of fighting from a distance. This can be a fatal mistake for him and a chance for AnesonGib to win. Also, let's not forget Albaher's dives. AnesonGib will be very happy with this opportunity. For Slim, AnesonGib is the perfect stylistic opponent to shoot with his long jabs, not letting him come close and knocking him out in the style of Jake Paul at a crucial moment. So the end of the fight depends more on Slim than on AnesonGib. I think Slim should take the victory in this fight, most likely by knockout, but I'm also confident that he will take risks as before and is unlikely to correct the mistakes we saw today. So it will be a real war, but technique in this fight will help Slim win.